My father picked out a pair of twin brothers from the black market to serve as slaves for my sister and me. My sister was the first to choose, picking the tall and fierce older brother, leaving me with the half-dead mute younger brother. Feeling sorry for him, I kept him by my side. Since he couldn't speak, I took him to doctors everywhere to seek a cure. Since he had a severe aversion to cleanliness, I kept my distance to respect his boundaries. I genuinely believed his behavior was the result of past trauma.
He must have been hurt.
Until one day, my father's enemies kidnapped my sister and me. Without a shred of hesitation, he abandoned me and chose to shield my sister from a bullet with his own body.
You can finally see me.
But to me, he said,
In the next life, please don't choose me.
He's not mute. He has no OCD.
When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day we were choosing our slaves. This time, I would grant him his wish. My sister Aurora Snow's voice echoed in my ears.
I'll choose Kilvin Star. You're weak. Ethan Steelvin can protect you.
This time, I'll do as he wishes.
Ethan Steele, my sister Ivy Frost is in your care. Protect her well.
I stared coldly at Aurora Snow's hypocritical display.
I was fooled by her hypocrisy in my past life.
Back then, I had hesitated after she chose Ethan Steele, and seeing my hesitation, she proposed a trade.
I thought she was kind.
It wasn't until our father's enemies kidnapped us that the truth came to light.
Let Killian Starr save you first.
Her slave, Killian Starr, was incredibly skilled. She was more than capable of saving herself.
That the snow your bigs with me.
Yet, she merely gave lip service, telling Killian Starr to rescue me first.
She wants a good reputation and the slave she likes.
Okay.
Astonishment flashed across my sister's face. She clearly hadn't expected me to agree so readily. I met her shocked gaze dead on, a cold sneer forming at the corner of my mouth.
I was too weak to be manipulated in my past life.
Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a flicker of confusion pass through Killian Starr's eyes. Just then, our father spoke up.
No! You're the eldest lady. He's too thin and mutt. How can he protect you?
I looked at my father, a profound chill settling deep within my chest.
I'm never as good as Aurora Snow in his heart.
Years ago, he had entered an arranged marriage with my mother solely to save his failing family business. My mother only found out later that he already had a child with another woman, and she eventually passed away from a broken heart. The moment my mother was gone, he brought Aurora Snow and her mother into our home, forcing me to call her my older sister.
I thought he had feelings for me.
Yet, knowing full well that Killian Starr was supposedly a mute, he had brought him back anyway.
He just wanted to pretend to choose.
He had decided from the very beginning that Ethan Steele would go to Aurora Snow. Beside him, Aurora Snow let out a quiet sigh of relief. She stepped forward hypocritically, tugging at my father's arm.
But sister...
Right at that moment, Killian Starr lost his composure.
I'm not mute.
With those words, he executed a flawless combination of punches right then and there, each strike powerful and precise.
I look thin, but I'm strong. I can protect the eldest lady.
He never spoke to me for 5 years, but now he speaks for her.
I'm good at fighting too. Let me stay with the eldest lady.
My father began to waver.
Fight. The winner stays with Aurora Snow.
Upon hearing this, the two brothers immediately locked into a fierce brawl. Killian Starr fought ruthlessly, aiming every vicious blow at Ethan Steele's vital points, acting as if the man before him wasn't his twin brother, but a mortal enemy out for his life. At first, Ethan Steele held back, but as Killian Starr pressed him harder and harder, he gradually began to fight for real. Ultimately, Killian Starr emerged victorious by a narrow margin. My father announced on the spot that Killian Starr would be my sister's slave. Only after finishing his announcement did he finally remember me, offering a hollow, insincere remark. Ethan, I leave the second daughter in your care. Ethan Steele dropped heavily to his knees with a loud thud.
Send me back to the black market, sir.
My father's face darkened instantly, and he slammed his cane heavily against the floor.
Presumptuous! How dare you bargain with my Hale family?
Ethan Steele glanced at me, unable to hide his sheer disdain.
I dare not disobey you, but I'm too rude to serve the second lady.
I took a deep breath.
I'm not as beautiful as Aurora Snow.
Moreover, because I had thrown myself from a horse years ago to save her, I had broken my leg, leaving me with a slight but noticeable limp even after recovering.
That's why Killian Starr disliked me.
My sister anxiously grabbed Ethan Steele's arm, trying to haul him to his feet.
Ethan Style, you can't abandon my sister. You'll suffer more if you go back. I can't let you do this.
I watched this farce play out with a detached, cold gaze. Aurora knows I'm doing this all for you, Act had moved me to tears of gratitude. In my past life, now, it only made me sick to my stomach.
You don't need to say more. If Ethan Steele doesn't want to stay, let him go.
This little show of hers was meant for our father's benefit. It was supposed to highlight her own saintly kindness, while cementing my status as the unloved, rejected daughter. She hadn't expected me to tear down the stage entirely.
She fooled me in my past life. Now it makes me sick. You don't have to say more, sister. Since Ethan doesn't want to stay, let him go.
My father froze, clearly not expecting me to say that.
I wanted to show authority and win gratitude.
Aurora Snow also froze in place.
This play was for Father.
I want to look kind and make her unpopular.
She quickly hurried over to persuade me.
Sister, he's just angry. Don't send him away. He will suffer a lot if he goes back.
If you care so much, take both brother yourself.
Aurora Snow's face instantly flushed a deep crimson.
What are you talking about? She's thrilled inside. I love being praised for my taste.
My father stepped forward.
Ivy, do you really mean that?
I sneered.
Yes. I don't want either of them.
The expressions on both brothers' faces stiffened.
How dare she say that?
I feel familiar, and I have a guess.
My father put on a show of paternal worry.
What about your safety?
Let me join the company. The security team will protect me.
With things having escalated to this point, my father had no choice but to nod in agreement.
I loved Killian blindly last life, knowing nothing about business. I ended up helpless and alone. This life, I control my fate. I have only one goal.
You start at the marketing department, from the bottom.
He likely assumed I was just acting on a passing whim.
She'll quit soon.
Instead, I threw myself into the work with absolute devotion. By day, I learned the business ropes from my seniors. By night, I buried my head in professional textbooks at home, channeling every ounce of my energy into my career. Before long, I began to deliver impressive results. The colleagues who had initially looked down on me gradually began to view me with newfound respect. In no time at all, my reputation skyrocketed within the company. My achievements even eclipsed those of Aurora Snow, whom my father had always groomed as the sole heir.
I'm not weak anymore.
Naturally, Aurora Snow couldn't swallow this bitter pill. She began to covertly sabotage me at every turn within the office, either intentionally altering client files under my responsibility, or completely distorting my proposals during board meetings. But this time, I was no longer the soft, easily manipulated target I once was. For every document she altered, I kept a secure backup as evidence beforehand. Every time she misrepresented my proposals, I stood up on the spot and countered her with hard data, presenting arguments so clear and airtight that she was left utterly speechless. One evening upon returning home, she blocked my path.
You're shining at work. Father praises you.
Aurora Snow wore her usual sickly sweet smile, but her eyes betrayed her calculating thoughts.
Marketing is hard. Let me move you to an easy department.
I walked right past her, my voice deadpan.
No need.
Aurora Snow quickly caught up, her tone sickeningly affectionate.
I'm not discouraging you. Your success is just luck. If you fail, Hale family will lose face. With your flaw, no man will ever love you.
As she spoke, her eyes flicked toward the two brothers standing not far away. I let out a sharp scoff.
You're just afraid I steal your spotlight.
Aurora Snow's smile instantly froze on her face, like a child whose secret misdeeds had suddenly been exposed.
You're talking nonsense! I'm kind to remind you!
With that, her eyes welled up with tears. My laughter only grew colder.
Kind? Don't you know how I got this flaw? I saved you on horseback. You pushed me, so I fell and limped.
Aurora Snow's tears immediately spilled over, splashing onto the floor.
I didn't think you'd think that of me.
Seeing her tears, the two brothers were instantly filled with heartache. They stepped forward, shielding Aurora Snow behind them.
Second miss, you're too much! Apologize!
Staring at his vile expression, the last remnants of my patience evaporated. I swung my hand and slapped him hard across the face. Killian Starr's head snapped to the side, a bright red mark rapidly surfacing on his pale skin. He slowly turned his head back.
You...
I cut him off with icy finality.
A slave dares to order his master?
Without another word, I turned and walked away, leaving the three of them standing frozen in shock.
I thought I could avoid all risks.
Yet, I still ended up being kidnapped by our father's enemies. When the cold metal pressed against the back of my neck, I didn't struggle. My fingers quietly slipped into my pocket, holding down the emergency speed dial key on my phone. I closed my eyes as the terror of my past kidnapping came rushing back, but this time, my heart remained exceptionally calm. The leader of the kidnappers toyed with a dagger, his tone dripping with mockery.
Well, 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 look who we have here. Second miss. Will your father save you or the bastard first?
I remained silent, keeping my ears strained to catch any noise outside the warehouse. Sure enough, before long, the heavy iron doors were violently kicked open, and two figures charged inside, one right after the other. It was Ethan Steele and Killian Starr. Their eyes locked onto Aurora Snow, who was trembling in the corner from the very first second. Killian Starr's voice carried an urgency I had never heard before as he rushed to her side.
Don't be afraid. We're here.
Ethan Steele followed closely behind. The two brothers stood back to back, shielding Aurora Snow between them, to form an impenetrable barrier. Throughout the entire process, neither of them cast so much as a single glance in my direction. The kidnapper leader let out a mocking laugh.
The Hale family doesn't care about the second miss.
He suddenly pressed the dagger firmly against my throat.
Move one step, and she dies.
I saw Killian Starr's movements pause for a fraction of a second, but he merely turned his head back to whisper to Aurora Snow.
Don't open your eyes.
The next second, he wrenched a metal pipe from a nearby thug and began hacking a bloody path forward, his target remaining entirely fixed on the exit closest to Aurora Snow. Ethan Steele didn't even look back. He kicked open the iron doors with a heavy boot and bark.
Go.
Escorted safely in the center of their protection, Aurora Snow lifted her eyelids to look at me as they passed by. There wasn't an ounce of guilt in her eyes, instead, they gleamed with a deeply hidden, smug satisfaction. As the cold bite of the dagger grew heavier against my skin, I closed my eyes, a profound serenity settling over my soul.
Their choice never changes, not even in rebirth.
Just then, the shrill wail of police sirens suddenly echoed outside the warehouse. The kidnappers panicked, throwing me to the ground before scrambling toward a hidden escape tunnel at the back. As Killian Starr and his brother ushered Aurora Snow out, he seemed to hesitate briefly near the entrance of the hidden tunnel, casting a single backward glance into the warehouse. The sound of their footsteps gradually faded into the distance, leaving the warehouse entirely empty, save for me.
Hale family, Killian, Aurora, it's time to end.
Taking advantage of the chaos as the police began securing the scene, parked deep within the alley was an inconspicuous, battered sedan. The window rolled down, revealing the heavily wrinkled face of Uncle Arthur.
He's Mother's most trusted driver.
Uncle Arthur's voice trembled with choked emotion.
Miss, everything is ready.
No more Ivy Frost. Only one who takes back Mother's legacy.
The car traveled along the highway through the dead of night. As the horizon began to pale with the first light of dawn, Uncle Arthur pulled over near a secluded, hidden pier. Staring at the silhouette of a cargo ship gradually coming into focus in the distance, I took a deep breath. Uncle Arthur handed me a black suitcase.
The ship goes to Singapore, then to Switzerland. The elder left legacy funds and trusted partners. Mother kept this for you. She said you need a way out if Hale family fails you.
Mother never told me. She paved the way long ago.
I traced the cold metal locks of the suitcase, my eyes stinging with warmth. My mother had never mentioned any of this to me while she was alive. As it turned out, she had paved a path of retreat for me long ago. Before I boarded the ship, Uncle Arthur suddenly grasped my wrist.
Switzerland is cold. Your leg injury...
I turned my hand over to squeeze his rough palm.
Don't worry, Uncle Arthur. I'm not that crying girl anymore.
As the sheep's horn pierced through the morning mist, I cast one last look at Uncle Arthur's hunched figure standing on the pier, then turned and stepped onto the gangway. The moment the cargo ship entered international waters, my phone signal vanished completely. Standing on the deck and watching the receding coastline shrink into nothingness.
Like watching burned ashes.
Tucked away at the very bottom of the suitcase was a faded, yellowed photograph. It was a picture of my mother holding me as an infant in swaddling clothes, beneath the snow-capped mountains of Switzerland. On the back, her elegant handwriting read, *, my daughter, Ivy Frost. May you be like the morning frost, pure and steadfast in guarding your soul, yet also like the warm sun, destined to find your way home.
I thought Mother's death was fate. I found clues in her diary after rebirth. He killed for her dowry. Her death was a murder.
Meanwhile, back at the Hale family villa, total chaos had broken out. Aurora Snow threw herself into our father's arms, weeping uncontrollably.
Dad, it's all my fault. Killen and Ethan saved me, so sister.
My father patted her back to soothe her, but his eyes were terrifyingly sinister. The police had just left, leaving behind nothing but the inconclusive deduction that Ivy Frost is missing and has likely been taken by the kidnappers. He gripped his cane so tightly that his knuckles turned white.
She's annoying alive but dead. Mother's connections and assets are lost.
Killian Starr stood off to the side, his brow furrowed in a tight knot. That final glance back in the warehouse kept replaying in his mind. He had seen Ivy Frost sitting on the ground. Her eyes completely devoid of fear, devoid of any plea for help. She hadn't even looked at him.
That look pricked my heart.
Ethan Steele suddenly spoke up.
I found this in the back alley.
He opened his palm to reveal a small, delicate silver bookmark engraved with half a winter frost flower. It was an item I never allowed to leave my person. Aurora Snow's sobbing caught for a microsecond, before she wailed even louder.
It's her favorite Hogmark. She must be in trouble.
Only Killian Starr stared at the bookmark, his eyes darkening heavily.
She always carried it. It's Mother's memory. Why leave it if kidnapped?
His heart churned with a complex tangle of emotions. By the time the cargo ship docked at the port of Singapore, the contact Uncle Cross had arranged was already waiting at the pier, a young Chinese Singaporean.
Miss Ivy, Uncle Arthur told me everything. I'll accompany you. Mr. Cross manages your mother's assets in Zurich.
I replied flatly.
Thank you for your trouble.
On the flight to Zurich, I leaned against the window with my eyes closed, resting. My phone vibrated with an incoming message from Mr. Cross, which included a detailed document attached. It was a comprehensive ledger of the assets my mother had left behind, spanning luxury hotels, art galleries, and substantial shares in several tech firms. It was far more massive than I had ever imagined.
Mother never relied on the Hale family. She built a fortress for us. Father killed her not just for dowry, but for hidden wealth.
The moment the plane touched down at Zurich Airport, Mr. Cross came to receive me personally. Upon meeting, he immediately handed me a legal document.
Miss, this is the equity transfer your mother entrusted.
Okay.
She ordered all assets to you when you turn adult.
I flipped open the document. My mother's signature was bold and powerful, and the date at the bottom was exactly 1 week before her death. My heart wrenched painfully.
She knew her end long ago.
Victor Hale tried to contact me many times. I blocked him. He sent men to Switzerland. We were prepared.
I closed the file, my fingertips trembling slightly.
Uncle Julian, what do you know about my mother's death?
Mr. Cross fell silent for a long moment before pulling a photocopied autopsy report from his briefcase.
I had a re-examination after the funeral.
The report shows her medicine was laced with excessive sedatives. Long-term use causes organ failure. It looked like natural death.
I thought she died of sorrow. It was a murder. Father's gentle face turns hideous.
Uncle Julian, I take over all assets today. Find 2 men, Killian Starr and Ethan Steele. All details.
Understood.
I gazed out the window at the endless, pristine white snow of the Alps.
This life, I make them pay, little by little.
Inside the Hale family villa, Killian Starr stood just outside the study door, listening to our father's furious roaring echoing from within.
Useless!
You can't even keep a person! If Ivy is dead, what about her mother's assets?
Dad, don't be angry. We tried our best. She might just run away. She'll come back.
Come back? If she dares, I'll silence her forever.
Killian Starr clenched his fist so hard that his fingernails dug deep into his palms. He recalled the chillingly serene look in Ivy Frost's eyes back in the warehouse, and the bookmark left behind in the alleyway. The knot of unease in his chest tightened violently. Just then, Ethan Steele walked over from the courtyard.
I found something.
The two walked over to a secluded corner of the garden where Ethan Steele handed him a file.
Our parents were killed by Victor Hale's enemies. He adopted us to be his dead soldiers.
Killian Starr's pupils contracted sharply.
What did you say? He knew our identity. He bound us to the sisters. To make us fight and die for the Hale family. The kidnapping was not an accident. He leaked the news to test our loyalty. I thought I chose Aurora. It was all a trap. Everything I did for Aurora was a joke.
He gripped the thin stack of paper, his thumb nearly tearing through the sheets.
My coldness to Ivy was a chess piece.
The eyes that had spent a lifetime chasing after Aurora Snow were clouded with a thick, suffocating darkness for the very first time. He finally spoke, his voice dry and raspy, like sandpaper scraping against stone.
What about Ivy Frost?
Ethan Steele fell silent for a moment before pulling another photograph from his jacket.
Victor Hale plotted against Ivy since birth.
If Mother didn't transfer assets overseers, Ivy would be dead.
Ethan Steele left the rest unsaid, but the implication struck Losing Eye's heart like a shard of ice. He vividly remembered how, in their past life, Ivy Frost loved to sit by the window to read, her fingers always lightly tracing that silver bookmark engraved with the frost flower. Back then, he had found her gloomy, melancholic demeanor incredibly annoying. He had never once stopped to realize that this girl, the one he treated like an absolute burden, had been living under the shadow of the most malicious, deeply rooted conspiracies since the day she was born.
She was plotted against since birth. I thought she was a burden. Brother, did we do wrong?
Ethan Steele patted his shoulder, his own eyes swimming with an equally heavy, torturous complexity.
It's too late to say this now.
Right at that moment, the study doors flew open and Aurora Snow emerged, supporting our father, whose face was completely pale with fury. Catching sight of the twins, Aurora Snow's eyes lit up. She released her hold on our father and hurried over, wrapping her arms affectionately around the brothers.
What are you talking about? Father said he'll promote you.
The two brothers smoothly but deliberately pulled their arms back, their movements carrying an unprecedented, freezing distance. The sweet smile on Aurora Snow's face faltered for a fraction of a second before she softened her voice once more.
Are you sad for sister? I miss her too.
Killian Starr cut her off, his gaze as sharp and piercing as ice.
Do you really miss her?
Caught off guard by his look, Jiang Shuangxiu's heart skipped a beat.
Kilvin, how can you ask that? She's my sister.
In the warehouse, you saw the knife at her throat. You didn't call for help at all. You looked back at her. I saw your pride.
Aurora Snow's face instantly drained of all color. Her eyes darting instinctively toward our father. My father stepped forward, slamming his cane hard against the ground.
Presumptuous! Killian, how dare you question the eldest lady?
Killian Starr ignored him completely, keeping his eyes locked onto Aurora Snow.
I didn't! How could you think that?
Killian Starr pressed on relentlessly, ignoring her tears entirely.
She fell off the horse to save you. You said it was an accident. But I found you pushed her. You feared she would outshine you.
Her lips quivering as she found herself entirely stripped of words. Seeing this, my father roared in fury.
Killian! You're a slave! How dare you talk nonsense! Believe it or not, I'll ruin you now!
Killian Starr slowly turned his gaze toward my father, his eyes swimming with unbridled mockery.
Ruin me? You dare not now. You adopted us to be your scapegoats. Now Ivy is gone. You want us to seize her mother's assets.
Having his deepest greed exposed so bluntly, my father's face twisted in rage. He raised his heavy cane high, poised to strike Killian Starr down. Ethan Steele stepped forward, firmly catching the cane midair.
Sir, now is not the time for anger. We have more important things to do.
My father glared venomously at Ethan Steele, but knowing his words held truth, he forcefully yanked his cane back.
You'd better behave, or you'll suffer.
With that, he turned and stormed away. Aurora Snow scrambled to keep up, casting one last venomous, hateful glare at Killian Starr before vanishing inside. Left alone in the quiet garden.
Brother, we were wrong. So wrong.
Ethan Steele let out a long, heavy sigh, resting a hand on his brother's trembling shoulder.
It's useless now. We must find Ivy to make amends.
But where? She hates us. She'll never want to see us.
We have to try. I've sent Peep to search. We'll have news soon.
Meanwhile, across the globe in Switzerland, I was systematically and flawlessly taking control of my mother's estate. Mr. Doc Cross guided me through the operational structures of each firm, introducing me to our most vital global partners. My days were packed to the brim with work. One afternoon, while reviewing a collection of paintings in our art gallery, Mr. Doc Cross stepped inside.
Miss, I need to tell you something important.
I set the paperwork down and looked up.
What is it?
Mr. Doc Cross spoke quietly.
Killian Starr and Ethan Steele are looking for you. They're in Switzerland.
I paused briefly before letting out a cold, sharp laugh.
What do they want from me?
I don't know. They're moving fast. They'll find you soon. Miss, should you hide for now?
No. I have nothing to fear. If they come, they'll learn I'm not the weak girl anymore.
Mr. Doc Cross offered a worried reminder.
But they're skilled fighters. It could be dangerous.
A smooth, confident smile graced my lips.
Don't worry, Uncle Julia. I'm not helpless anymore. I've learned self-defense. We have our men here. They can't hurt me.
Seeing my absolute resolve, Mr. Doc Cross refrained from pushing further.
All right. I'll strengthen security.
A mere few days later, Killian Starr and Ethan Steele successfully traced my steps to the art gallery.
Ivy Frost.
Killian Starr's voice sounded far more raspy and broken than I remembered. I turned around slowly to find the twin brothers standing one after the other.
We've been looking for you for so long.
My tone remained entirely flat.
Oh.
Killian Starr's face drained of color. He instinctively took a step toward me, but was instantly blocked by a wall of security guards. The guards stationed inside the gallery were elite veterans handpicked by Uncle Cross. They moved seamlessly, forming a protective crescent around me.
I know I was wrong. I was blind. Aurora fooled me.
Past life? You know more about it than I do. Unfortunately, I have a bad memory. I only remember you pretended to be mute and clean for 5 years. You ignored me. Then you risked your life for another woman.
Killian Starr's lips trembled violently, the crimson veins in his eyes spreading like a fractured spiderweb.
I didn't know. She was pretending that we were raised as killers.
I took 2 steps forward, staring directly into his eyes. The very eyes that had once held absolutely nothing but Aurora Snow's reflection were now filled with a desperate, suffocating remorse that meant absolutely nothing to me.
So what? Would you stand by me instead of her?
Killian Starr's throat bobbed heavily, but he could not summon a single word. Standing behind him, Ethan Steele finally spoke up.
Miss, we owe you much. We come not only to say sorry. This has proof Victor Hale murdered your mother, and records of him stealing her assets.
I signaled a guard to take the disc, tapping my fingers lightly against the cool metal casing.
Perfect timing. You fear I'll take revenge on you?
Killian Starr snapped his head up, his bloodshot eyes wild with desperation.
No! No! We investigated to help you!
I let out a soft, amused laugh.
Killian, have you forgotten your last words? Next life, don't choose me.
His face lost every single remnant of color, his fists clenching so hard his knuckles looked ready to snap.
I didn't mean...
You only had eyes for Aurora. I was a burden.
My icy gaze sweeping across both of them.
You think I'll soften like my past life?
I tossed the U-disc to my assistant standing behind me.
I'd get these proofs sooner or later. You just came to save yourselves.
Killian Starr's shoulders slumped completely.
I should have known you'd never be controlled. Never be controlled.
All sorrows have gone with the past.
I turned on my heel, walking toward the inner sanctuary of the gallery.
Security, please show them out.
Killian Starr suddenly broke away from the guard's grip, stumbling forward frantically, completely ignoring his palms scraping against the floorboards.
Ivy, give me one chance to atone!
His frantic pleading was cut short by the click of a firearm. Uncle Julian had stepped out from the shadows, his handgun aimed squarely at the space between Killian Starr's eyes.
Mr. Starr, this is not Hale Villa. One more step, bullets don't discriminate.
Killian Starr froze instantly, the last embers of hope dying out in his eyes.
We're leaving.
Miss, the records are complete enough to jail Victor Hale.
I trailed a finger slowly along the textured cracks of a painting frame.
Hold it first. I want Aurora to watch everything shatter.
A short 2 weeks later, news of the Hale Group's catastrophic stock market collapse reached Switzerland. Utilizing the offshore shell corporations my mother had established, I anonymously leaked a portion of my father's extensive embezzlement records to the public. The foul scandals he had spent a lifetime suppressing burst forth like a raging flood. Banks immediately froze his credit lines, corporate partners terminated their contracts, and frantic reporters surrounded the Hale Villa day and night. Mr. Doc Cross handed me the latest intelligence report.
Victor Hale blames Aurora for everything. Says she colluded to empty the company. Killen and Ethan left Hale family. They're hunted.
I flipped through the pages, my fingers coming to a sudden halt on a specific leaf. It was the legal deed for a cutting-edge biotechnology firm registered under my mother's name. In our past life, my father had exhausted every single resource trying to seize this firm, yet he had failed to uncover the encryption keys to its core patents. I closed the file firmly.
Time for him to lose all.
3 days later, the Hale Group officially declared total bankruptcy, while my father was being led away in handcuffs by federal investigators right in the middle of an emergency shareholders meeting. Aurora Snow was intercepted at the international airport, attempting to flee the country with a suitcase packed with stolen corporate funds. The man blocking her path was none other than Killian Starr.
You let me down!
Killian Starr merely threw a DNA report directly at her face.
You're not his daughter. You're an enemy spy. We're all pawns. You're just greedier.
Aurora Snow was never my father's biological illegitimate daughter. She was a plant, a pawn placed within the Jiang family by his fiercest rival from the very beginning. Ultimately, Aurora Snow was extradited under severe charges of grand commercial fraud. As for the twins, after turning over every single piece of evidence to Interpol, they vanished from the face of the earth completely. I stood along the serene shores of Lake Zurich, my fingers lightly turning the silver frost flower bookmark I had finally reclaimed.
Victor Hale screamed your mother's name in prison. He said he was sorry.
Miss, it's all over.
The silver bookmark safely into my inner breast pocket, resting right beside the old photograph of my mother.
Yes, it's over.
The debts of our past life had been settled in full in this one. The grand illusions of love, hate, obsession, and regret had ultimately been swept away by the unstoppable currents of time. I gazed out at the brilliant crimson sun sinking slowly beneath the horizon, knowing with absolute certainty that the true life of Ivy Frost was only just beginning.